Good morning, geometry students. All right, today we're going to get into some more complicated parallel lines problems, similar to questions 3 and 4 on this page, where there's two transversals and making the picture a little more complicated, and you're going to really need to know all of your parallel lines angle relationships, like alternate interior and corresponding. Those are the big ones that'll get you through it, and vertical lines, of course. All right, so why don't you pause this video for a minute and take a look at questions 1 and 2. That's just like a quick recap of the day before. Try to set up those equations, all right? Pause the video, try to work them out, then restart the video, and I'll go over it, okay? All right. All right, so here we go. All right, this first one, again, you're checking to see if they are both obtuse, then they would be equal, or both acute, they would be equal. But if there's one obtuse and one acute, it's not going to be equal, then it's going to be 180. So I'm looking at this angle with the 9x plus 20 expression, and that one's acute. And then the other one, this one's obviously obtuse. So since there's one acute and one obtuse, these are not equal, therefore they are 180. All right, so I'm going to go 9x plus 20 plus 7x plus 64 equals 180. Okay? We're going to combine like terms. We're going to get 16x plus 84 equals 180. Subtract 84. We're going to get 16x equals 96. And lastly, we're going to divide. We're going to get x equals 6. Okay? Now, to get the angle measures, right, I really only need to plug it into one of these expressions. So I'm going to plug it into the first one. 9 times 6 plus 20. We're going to get 54 plus 20. So that's going to be 74 degrees. So then all the acute ones are going to be 74. All the obtuse ones are simply going to be 180 minus 74, which is going to be 106 degrees. All right. All right. Try to set up the second one now. Okay. This time, they're both acute. So these guys have to be equal. 8y minus 3 equals 6y plus 17. All right, we're going to solve to find y. All right, when we solve, we're going to get y is equal to 10. All right, to find the angle measures, we're going to plug it in. So I'm going to plug it into this one. It really doesn't matter which one you do. 6 times 10 plus 17. We're going to get 60 plus 17. We're going to get 77. Since these are both equal, they're both going to be 77, and then the other two acute ones will be 77. And then all the other ones are 180 minus 77, which can be 103 degrees. All right? All right, I'm going to model two or three more, and then you're going to finish the rest of these 2 pages here. All right? So this is the situation I'm talking about where these angle relationships get a little more complicated. Okay, and this is where you got to pull out your bag of tricks. All right, so the very first thing, and again, there's a number of ways you can go about doing this. Okay, so I see this situation here. I see 180. So if I wanted to get this angle, it would be 70. All right? Then, to try to find all the other missing angles, you could pull out your tricks, all right? Like these are gotta have to be equal because these are vertical, so this one's 60, all right? You also could figure out this angle. If you look at this relationship, this forms the Z. So this one and this one have to be congruent. So this one's 50. All right, and you can confirm that by adding the 3 angles of a triangle, and they're going to add up to 180. All right, So this is one I could get away without doing the alternate interior angles, but there's others where you got to know this and there's no other way around it, all right? Now, this is 60. Okay. Again, I can add these two up. 60 and 50 is 110 and subtract from 180. And that would give me the third angle of the triangle. Or again, I could have done the alternate interior angles. If I did the backwards Z, I would get, or the Z, I would get the 70 there. All right? And then the rest of the angles are pretty much going to be 180. Like these need to be 180. So this is 120 and 120. And if I wanted to know this angle on the bottom right, 180 minus 70, 110. And if I needed this angle, 180 minus 50 is 130. All right? You're not going to be given a problem like this where you're trying to find a whole bunch of different angles. You're probably going to see a multiple choice where they're looking for one angle, but maybe you need to find this angle in order to find that one. Or you need to find this angle in order to get this one. All right? But to practice all the relationships, we're going to find all the angle measures here. All right? So take a look at number 4. Okay, number 4 is another question where we have two transversals, okay? And there's a number of ways you could do it, okay? This is because of all these intersecting lines up on the top, there's a whole lot of vertical angles going on here, all right? So right away, right off the bat, these two are vertical. This one's going to be 40. These two are vertical. This one's 65, all right? Now, the only way you can get these two angles is to do a straight line. Either a straight line around the top. You could do the straight line this way if you want. So all three of these together form a straight line. They're going to be 180. So you add 40 and 65, you get 105. Subtract that from 180. You got 75. All right, now these two are vertical. So this one's 75. Okay, if you need to at any time, pause this video or rewind it to go back and see, do that, all right? If you're stuck on another question, maybe come back, refer to a couple of these, all right? Now, to get all these other angles on the bottom, you're going to need one of two tricks. You could do the corresponding angles, but because there's so many angles up here, that might be tough to see. I think the easiest relationship to see is your alternate interior. Remember, that's the Z. So if I do the Z, look, I'm going to trace it in red so you can see it. All right, here's my Z. That means these two, they're going to be equal. So this one's 65. All right, if I wanted to get this one at the bottom, I could either do the backwards Z like this, and you'd see that it's 40. But if you don't see that, you could still get it by adding 75 and 65, which is going to give you 140, I should say, and then subtract from 180, so 40 degrees. So far, I've used 4 angle relationships. I did vertical a couple times. I did supplementary. I did alternate interior. That's the third one. And then I did the 3 angles of a triangle. All my bag of tricks here. All right, it's like a little toolbox. You got to pick out the right tool. One tool, one problem. The tool might be alternate interior. Another one might be corresponding or vertical, etc. Now I can get all the rest of these angles by either vertical angles or supplementary. So these are supplementary on the bottom. 180 minus 40, 140. These are vertical, equal 140. They're equal to each other, 140. These are vertical, therefore they're equal, that's 60. And then on this side, these are equal at 65. All right, and then I get the last two by 180 minus 65. And then these are equal. All right, so at this point, you've seen all of the angle relationships. And you're going to use 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 different ones in each problem. So this one we did, just to recap, We did vertical. We did supplementary. We did alternate interior. We did the angles of a triangle. And then we used some of these things more than once. All right? I'm going to just get you started on the next one, and then you can finish these up. Right? The main thing I want to point out in the next one is question 5, what these two marks mean. Again, remember, this means that these two sides are congruent. So basically, what do we have? We have that isosceles triangle. So the base angles are congruent. The key here is knowing which angles are congruent. Is it these two? Is it the two at the top? Is it this one and this one? And remember, it goes back to the congruent angles are opposite the congruent sides. So this is the congruent side, this angle is opposite. This is the congruent side, this angle is opposite. So these two at the top are the ones that are equal. Now you know that's 50. Now you could do a number of things. You could do your alternate interior angles, right? Well, this is 50. You could do your angles of a triangle to get this angle. Then you know that these are equal because they're vertical. And then pretty much from there, you could get it all done. So 50 and 50 is 100. 180 minus 100 gives you this angle is 80. That means this angle is 80. Angles of a triangle, again, these three got to add up to 180. And then these are 180. These are 180, and the same story here. And then these are vertical, or you could do 180 again. All right? All right, I'm going to stop the video. Try the rest of these questions, all right? And I'll post solutions by tomorrow. All right? Talk to you soon. Email me with any questions.